Okay, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to tear down your Daisy Powerline 990 to rebuild it when the seals go out. So first off, you're going to notice you have one screw on the right side of the gun, and you have 5 on the left side of the gun. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Go ahead and take them all out, and don't worry about anything up here. And start tearing it down. Once I get the stock off, it'll be a little easier to zoom in to see everything. Helps to have a little tub where your screws in. Don't worry, all of these screws are the same size except for the one for the stock. That is the only one that is long, so it's really easy to keep up with where they go. Okay. Noticeably much longer. Now that all the screws are out of the body of the gun, we can pull apart. You're going to want to take the top layer off. It actually hooks in the front, so just pick up from the rear and pull. It's got this little tab that hooks into the main body. So, actually a really well made gun. Now, you can pull this part away. Well, probably should have emptied the BBs out of it first, but I don't know. There. That's what a magnet's for, right? There's a spring right here on the trigger. It rests up against the body. Real easy to remember where that dude goes, because you won't be able to cock it without it. It won't do it. Okay. You also have your CO2 selection lever. I'll show you how to put that back in as well. Now you can slide your stock off. It just sits in place. Have a spring right here for keeping the CO2 in there. So it acts as a guide, so just make sure that doesn't fall out. Now, the #1 cause of your CO2 leaks is actually right here. Pull this off. There's a port right here with just a regular O-ring in there, black O-ring. And this is your problem right here. You would slide this out to the rear very carefully. And these 2 O-rings right here. Now a lot of people will get online, they'll try to find a rebuild kit. Make sure you get one that comes with the white O-rings, because the one I got from JG Air Guns, no bueno. Came with all black O-rings and 1 white washer. This really didn't work out. This was, how much did I pay for this? Way too much. $31.15. Ouch. Now, what I did was I went to my local paintball shop, and they do have just a regular divider of these O-rings, because that's what they deal in, is CO2 powered paintball guns. So I picked these up. I picked up 2 sets. I've already rebuilt the gun, and I figured I'd make a video of how to do it. Just take your existing seals up there. Your existing seals. This one is quite ruined. It's ripped and everything, so yeah, it wasn't going to fire. And for 2 complete sets of O-rings, it was like $17.32. Big deal. So, once you have your new O-rings installed, can pop this dude back in. It's important to realize that this one has a notch in the back, and this actually catches on your switch. When your switch is in the gun, it will actually move this part. I'll show you how to put it back in. But when you go to put it back in, this part facing to the rear. The part with the flat notch goes in first. Always make sure you oil the seals before you put it in, or there's a really good chance you're going to rip them. So just put you a couple drops. If you just have some rim oil, they recommend using 3-in-1 at the paintball shop. So just pop that dude in with that notch in the downward facing position. So this part's back, notch is down, that's ready to go back in the gun. Make sure this O-ring is fine. You can just pop it out with a little pick tool, or this guy, you can just pop it out. It's a standard black O-ring you can get from Ace Hardware or wherever, your corner hardware store. So once that's in, you have your pump or your piston right here, and it has a big black O-ring on that. What you'd have to do to get that out is you'd have to spread this bodywork just a little bit, because these little pegs on the main guts of it here, the main insides, that pops in. So you'd want to pull this straight back, open this up, and the whole guts slide out, just like that. Really easy to do. Now, these guys right here came out of here. You slide this back off of this other piston inside, and there are two on there. One here, one here. Take those dudes off, throw them in the pile, go to the paintball shop. Once all these are replaced, your gun should work perfectly. Just make sure you're not using the black O-rings, or else they'll just blow up as soon as you put CO2 in it, or, you know, the fourth time you try to use it with the pump. It does not like standard O-rings. So it's really easy to put the chamber back on. I wouldn't worry about any of this up here. Just make sure it's not really dirty or anything. Oil it if necessary. Slide it all back together. Now when changing the seal out on the piston, on the other hand, this is actually kind of a chore, because you have to get this to turn in the housing and come out. So while flexing the housing outward, you're going to pull up and push down at the same time to get it in a standing position so you can pull it out like this. See how it's cocked up? Then you can pull it straight out, pop that O-ring off, put a new one on from the hardware store, you're good. So don't spend $31 on a rebuild kit you can't use. This one's going right in the trash. So when you're wanting to put it back together, just line up the barrel, bring this guy down there, push the ram back up in there, make sure it has oil on it. Always make sure it has oil on it. Then all the way into the housing until it clicks back into place. Now you can close the ram and the gun will make a little oily fart, and you can put your finger over it and see that it will indeed make pressure now. That's good. So take this part and your switch and the bottom half of your receiver. BBs are going to get everywhere. Put your switch back in. This part is what blocks the CO2 cartridge from being able to go in when in pump setting. You can set your guts back in. Well, make sure you put your stock on first, because you can't do it after the fact. There. Goes right together like that. Don't put your back screw in just yet, because you have to get the CO2 mechanism back in. So just go ahead and zoom in on this. kind of finagle it back into place. And then line your switch up with the notch. Got the switch right here. Make sure it goes into the notch right there. Push that all the way up into the seal. Now everything's set. Really, actually kind of easy. Now if you really want to, you can put the one back on the other side, the single screw. Put it in. You can put it in loose if you want, because everything still has to drop into place. Get this side. Don't forget the trigger spring. It's really easy to do, just this part right here. Okay, here's an up close shot of everything before I close it up. You can see the switch going up into the little notch on the bar with the O-rings. Everything's lined up as it should. There is the spring. So, making sure you get everything back together right. Now, you can take the other half of the body, making sure you put the tab in first. Same on both sides. Right into this square hole. Tab goes in, hinges down. Body should close completely, no gaps. Looks good. While holding it, make sure everything still moves. No snagging. Excellent. Now, we can take all of our screws, put them back in, starting with the one on the stock. And that's kind of holding the back side of the gun together. Go to the one in the middle of the receiver. Top of the mag. And the two at the bottom. Bring it up here where y'all can actually see. Now, this gun, before it was rebuilt, would not hold pressure at all, even with the pump, because the seals were destroyed. Now, if I bring the CO2 switch back to pump, cock it, you'd almost have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger to get it past the fourth pump. It's really, really strong. And that is how you rebuild your Daisy Powerline Model 990 dual power BB gun. If this video helped you out, give it a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, just feel free to leave a comment and I'll get back to you. And thanks for watching.